Play has a key role in human development. Dozens of essential skills and cognitive processes are built and strengthened as a child plays. Many researchers have focused on the benefits of recess time and the negative effects that the decline of recess time can have on our children. This pool of research has shown strong evidence that recess has cognitive and social benefits for students. Cognitive performance is often improved alongside increased unstructured playtime. Specifically, playful unstructured breaks are extremely helpful for student performance as these breaks allow for rest between lessons. Socialization and peer interaction also see benefits with increased unstructured playtime. Recess breaks give children the time to experiment with social skills, as this time provides an opportunity for students to take others' perspectives, communicate effectively, and follow negotiated rules that they may not experience otherwise. Given the strong evidence for keeping recess in schools, it is then left up to politicians and educators to translate this research to actual policy in schools. I spoke with several Miami University students to learn about their past recess experiences.
I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and on Tangi local school districts.
I'm from Canton, Ohio. I was in Plain local school district, but I went to school in Canton City School District.
I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. My district was Atlanta Public Schools.
I grew up in the South Hills of Pennsylvania, south of Pittsburgh, Peters Township School District, PTSD, baby.
I grew up in Toledo, Ohio. I went to Ottawa Hills Elementary School, which is a part of the Ottawa Hills School District.
I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, in a town called Montgomery, and I went to the Sycamore School District.
I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. I went to on Tangi local schools.
I grew up in Hudson, Ohio. I went to Hudson City Schools. Did that till 8th grade, and then I switched to a private high school.
I grew up in Vernon Hills, Illinois. My school district is 173, and my elementary school was Town Line.
Yeah, it was a private Catholic school for grade school and high school.
My elementary school was a public elementary school.
I went to a public school.
It is a public school.
It was a public school.
I went to public school.
Yeah, grade school is public.
It was public.
Atlanta Public Schools.
We had 45 minutes for recess from kindergarten to 5th grade. And then after middle school, we didn't have any recess.
I got about 50 minutes for recess.
When we were younger, you had like two recess periods, I think, like a morning and an afternoon type deal.
I don't remember exactly, but it was a little bit over like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. It was a long ass recess. Sorry.
In grade school, we got about 45 minutes for recess, maybe 30.
Yeah, we did 30 minutes once a day. I think the younger kids got extra recess in the morning.
Grade school, I think I got an hour every day until 5th grade.
I believe we got around an hour for recess every day, and then in 4th grade, we got a little bit of extra time beyond the hour.
We had a lunch period that was about an hour and 5 minutes, and it was split about half and half between cafeteria time and recess.
During recess, I played tag a lot. From 5th grade to 8th grade, every single day, I had a group of friends, and there was a wall that was like at the end of our parking lot, and we would all sprint down there from the time they let us outside, and the last one to the wall was it. And then we would all like play freeze tag and run around and just laugh.
During recess, I think most of the time I just played like sports, like football, basketball.
I played football during recess.
When I was in early years of elementary school, we would play football, and then towards the later years, we would start playing World Cup soccer.
Well, we would play football, and we pretty much played tackle football. The recess monitors were wilding out at all times.
During recess, me and my friends would always play Foursquare. We would like fight over the tiles, I guess, and play Foursquare all the time. We'd also play tetherball or just play on the like monkey bar set or the playground.
Oh, during recess we played dodgeball, kickball, kick and catch. You know, you kick a ball as high in the air and someone else catches it, gets a point or something.
During recess, I would play on the playgrounds and go on the big red swing with my friends.
If we were outside, we would just play basketball or soccer, and if we were inside, we would have board games, like Connect Four or Twister, stuff like that.
Recess helped me in school because it helped me get all my energy out, and it was something to look forward to, and then it was a good break in the day.
Oh, it was great, you know. You hated sitting in class all day because the thing was the classes weren't always with your friends. But recess was everyone. It was just a madhouse. It was just like every kid in the school was outside at the time. So definitely recess was cool. It kind of felt like Shawshank a little bit, you know. You don't see your friends, and then in the yard you got to see all your friends.
It probably helped because, I mean, I didn't like school when I was younger, so like gave me a little break, I guess.
I think the classes before recess, like the class right before recess, you just like were looking forward to recess the whole time, and then afterwards you were just tired the rest of the day. But at the same time, it like, I guess, took away like a lot of your energy, so you were kind of more focused throughout the day almost.
It was nice to blow off steam rather than just sitting in the classroom all day.
It was exciting. It was nice to get energy out and have fun for a little bit and not have to be stuck inside, especially when it was nice. Sometimes it was miserable when it was cold and we had to stand outside in our skirts, but we'd still move around and have that time outside, and it was nice for us, but also nice for the teachers because they had a whole hour to themselves.
I think it really helped a lot because in the beginning of the school day, all you're really looking forward to is recess, and then after that, going home.
I think it was beneficial because our recess was in the middle of the day, so we were able to get extra energy out all the way through kindergarten to 4th grade. I think it definitely helped like mingle with other people that weren't in your class, that were still in your grade, because my school did it per grade. Each grade had their own time. But yeah, it was mostly during the middle of the day. I think it helped get our energy out and still be able to focus throughout the long day.
Well, after recess, I would go back into the classrooms and I was just pumped, ready to learn everything I possibly could. I know how it affected another student, fellow classmate of mine. He absolutely dominated the recess football life, and he went by the name Boram. And then after they took recess away, he decided to bring a knife to school for some reason. So he shined on the football field, and once they took that away from him, I think it just had a negative effect on his life, and he ended up getting expelled.
Unfortunately, many school districts and policymakers do not yet fully understand the positive effects that recess has on children. More and more schools are getting rid of recess in order to make more time for structured classroom time. In 1998, the National Association of Elementary School Principals reported that 96% of U.S. school districts had recess incorporated into their days. In 2006, this number dropped dramatically to only 56%. The effects of diminished recess can be felt around the country, and they are hard to ignore. Childhood obesity and ADHD have skyrocketed. Over the past 30 years, childhood obesity has increased by more than double, as only 36% of U.S. children meet the recommendation for daily activity. Similarly, ADHD diagnoses have spiked almost sixfold since 1990. It is not a coincidence that these issues are spiking as recess is beginning to disappear. Dr. Peter Gray presented a TED Talk that sums up this issue best.
Here are some of the reasons why play has declined. One, of course, is the increased weight of school. But an even more important reason, as important as that one is, I think an even more important reason for the decline of play has been the spread outside of the school walls of what I call a schoolish view of child development. The view that children learn best everything from adults, that children's own self-directed activities with other children are wastes of time. We don't often say it that way, but that's the implicit understanding that underlies so much of our policy with regard to children. So childhood has turned from a time of freedom to a time of resume building. Everything we know about play tells us that these are the effects we would expect if children are deprived of play. They're analogous to the effects we see in animals when we take play away from animals. Play is where children learn that they're in control of their own life. It's really the only place they are in control of their own life. When we take that away, we don't give them the chance to learn how to control their own life. Play is where they learn to solve their own problems and learn, therefore, that the world is not so scary after all. Play is where they experience joy and they learn the world is not so depressing after all. Play is where they learn to get along with peers and see from others' points of view and practice empathy and get over narcissism. Play is by definition creative and innovative. Of course, if you take away play, all these things are going to go down. And yet, the hue and cry that we hear everywhere is for more school, not for more play. And we've really got to change that.
I spoke with a current educator to see the reality of the decline of recess and its effect in the classroom.
I teach first grade at Mason Early Childhood Center. So in the morning they get 20 minutes, and then we have second recess in the afternoon, and that's between like 10 and 15. It all is just dependent on how much work we get done. So overall, I would say a good average would be 30 minutes, which is less than I had when I was a student. I had around like 45 to 50. So there's a little decrease. One of the more public thing is that to get their energy out, which is super important, but is also important for them to explore their imagination and also be able to work with their hands and their social aspect. A lot of behavioral and everything like that is due to social aspects, and that is just from sitting on the carpet and listening to the teacher. When the students have more recess, they definitely come in more tired overall, and that kind of makes them calm down and kind of focus a little bit more, and we focus a lot on like mental health. So we do a lot of come back in and have quiet time and regain the focus and not just be really like energetic. But we're happy that they get their wiggles out. But if they don't have recess at all, we have like indoor recess, like say it's raining, we have indoor recess, and they use more of like materials they build stuff with, like Legos and all like that, and it gets their creativity out and social aspect, but they are bouncing off the walls, running from station to station, just trying to engage their like active role in the day. So it's definitely better to have more recess throughout the day, just from a chatty, bursting out of energy type of way. I think that schools are focusing more on brain breaks, which are great, and I do them in my classroom too. It's about like a 3-minute video of just getting them up and getting their wiggles out, and I feel like they are trying to push for that more instead of maybe just incorporating more like longer recess time. That would be the same equivalent of getting their wiggles out, maybe even more, because they're not just in a little carpet square. I think that they need to like increase the recess, at least in my school, maybe at least like it's a huge difference between just 5 and 10 minutes, just for the kids too. So I am an advocate for the increase of recess if that is an option. It does not seem like recess is increasing, sadly, and this is just for elementary. I mean, it just decreases on from there. Just from my other peers in like different schools in older grades, they have no recess at all, and their kids' moods are just so monotone, so flatlined, and I feel like that's from their lack of accessing like their energy and what they're good at, because different type of learners, like tactile learners, they definitely need more hands-on learning and more like active learning, and that's not engaged if they don't apply it. And so I would just kind of be more adaptive to all learners and have them get their wiggles out.
Despite the strong evidence supporting more play in schools, students across the country are still getting less and less recess time. For a lot of students, this means falling behind in learning and development. Play is a great solution to a lot of the issues that students experience during their elementary years. We need strong play advocates like Paige to make sure the importance of play and recess isn't completely forgotten in the future of education.